defense.
Get out your crash helmet, bug spray, and bandages, because on this episode, we're going to find out all we can about the animal world's great defenders.
And what's going to happen when Chris Martin and I team up?
Not again.
Somebody's going down, and it isn't going to be me.
Oh! Martin will sacrifice everything to learn about the great defenders, and that's great.
But in the end, Chris and Allison might find out a thing or two about how creatures defend themselves.
We will?
We'll all be learning the secrets of animal self-defense on Facts Creatures.
Creature vision goggles?
Creature vision goggles.
Butterfly net?
Net.
Camcorder?
Got it.
Batteries?
Batteries.
We're all ready for one of the greatest creature adventures of all time. We're checking out the Great Defenders.
You know, in our travels, we've seen some amazing defenses from all sorts of amazing creatures. Wild animals defend themselves in wild ways,
Like paws,
charges,
snapping jaws,
biting jaws,
poisonous bards,
poisonous bites,
camouflage,
patterning,
running,
armor,
warning colors,
swimming,
horns,
power,
burrows,
tusks.
and size and strength.
What we're going to do today is check out creatures in our own backyard. Animals we all know about, but don't always think of as being masters of defense.
The amazing thing is that every creature on the face of the earth has some way of defending itself. Ready? Ready?
Ready.
The search for the great defenders has begun.
There've got to be some creatures defending themselves around here.
The problem is we might not be able to see some of them.
Hey, you know, you're right. Because one way creatures defend themselves is by camouflage.
Hey, you guys, I found something over here. I camouflaged myself as a tree and found a walking stick.
Where is it?
Right there.
Oh, yeah! A walking stick is an insect that looks exactly like a stick. That's how it hides from predators.
I gotta get a closer look at this. The walking stick is one of many great insect defenders. Only problem is, so many insects use camouflage as a defense and use it so well that they can be amazingly difficult to spot. Man, if I didn't know it was there, I wouldn't know it was there.
Which is the whole idea. When a walking stick does move, it makes a jerky motion, so it looks just like another part of the branch blowing in the breeze.
Which is exactly what the chameleon does in Africa.
For defense, chameleons move in a jerky style, making them look like a blowing leaf to predators like the eagle.
Another good defense are his swiveling eyes. Without moving his head, he can see in all directions, spotting his predators and spotting what he wants to eat. Then he uses his boomerang-like tongue to nab them.
By the way, chameleons don't change color only for camouflage. They do it more to communicate their moods.
Here's another insect that avoids being eaten by birds. It has two defenses. One, it flies erratically, up, down, every which way, all over the place. And two, it tastes really bad. Blah.
Why does it taste so bad?
Monarch butterfly caterpillars feed on milkweed, which is really bitter.
But they love it. As caterpillars, monarchs nibble as much milkweed as possible. Thing is, not only does milkweed taste bad, it's poisonous. Not to monarchs, but it can make small animals like rabbits or squirrels really sick.
And it's also poisonous to birds.
Humans should never eat milkweed, even a big guy like Martin. After all, for smaller animals, even a tiny bit is bad news. That's why when monarchs turn into butterflies, they keep the poison in their bodies. If a bird ate one, he'd find it a sickening experience. Literally.
So, the moral of the story is, don't eat a monarch. And it's a lesson birds learn pretty quickly.
So the moral of the story is, don't eat a monarch. And it's a lesson that birds learn pretty quickly.
Martin, what are you doing?
Martin, what are you doing?
Come on.
Come on.
Hey, I know what he's doing. Martin's mimicking Chris. Mimicry is what you call it when you copy someone else. And in the nature world, it's another great way creatures defend themselves. Not only do viceroy butterflies use mimicry as a defense, but all that flying around, up, down, and everywhere is making it pretty hard for Martin to catch one.
The viceroy butterfly is a great example. It looks almost exactly like a gross-tasting monarch butterfly, so the birds won't eat it. The funny thing, though, is that the viceroy butterfly isn't poisonous, but its looks fool the birds. Hey, wait a second. This is a monarch butterfly.
Is mimicry just about imitating other animals? Not always.
Look at this. Some creatures have taken mimicry in a different direction. This satyr butterfly has spots on the end of its wings that look like eyes.
Praying birds zero in on the eye spots. It looks like the head of a creature. But with the satyr, it's just the ends of his wings.
So the birds are more likely to miss, and the satyr butterfly escapes with little more than a frayed wing.
Plenty of great defenders use this strategy. Take a look. This Sonoran centipede has false antennae on his back end to make it look like he has two heads. That really confuses predators who aren't sure about which end to attack. Like the Sonoran, this trumpetfish's tail looks like his head. When a predator zeroes in, he'll probably be targeting the wrong end and miss his mark. This butterfly fish not only has a false eye spot, he also hides his real eye in a dark stripe. That way predators will really be fooled. What it all comes down to is that creatures can sometimes survive if their tails get bitten off, but without a head, forget it. Hey, talk about great defenders. Check out bees. You know, if you disturb it, they can really sting. One thing most people don't realize is that bees and wasps only sting to protect themselves or their nest.
So if you accidentally disturb a beehive, you're threatening them, and they'll sting, like Martin found out.
If you don't bother them, they won't bother you. And I guess I need a better defense.
Hey, that beekeeper's hat, it's a great idea.
Thanks.
A lot of creatures have protective armor.
I don't know. A lot might be stretching it. Let's think about this. There are 4,237 mammals in the world, right? But only 169 of them have natural protective armor. Armor's pretty special stuff.
If you want armor, check out the armadillo. Her armor is actually made of special hard, horny skin. For flexibility, it's hinged in bands like a suit of armor. That way, she can scoot around as she hunts for insects and fruit, and the hinges let her roll into a ball if threatened. Now, rhinos don't have armor, but they do have thick, tough, leathery skin. His skin presents a real challenge to even the sharpest claws. Of course, the rhino's size is his best defense, and if he's in real trouble, he isn't shy about using that horn. It's strong enough to pierce a metal jeep. And talk about piercing. The North American porcupine has quills that pierce the skin. If a dog or a bear goes after a pork, they'll be sorry, coming away with a bunch of quills stuck in their face. Similar defense, unrelated creature, Australia's echidna. If a predator attacks, the echidna buries himself, leaving only a sea of spikes. Hey, how about another great Australian defender? The wombat! These grass eaters find protection without needing armor or spikes. And something else?
Wombats found protection with a well-dug hole and a solid rump shield. Each creature specializes and carves out its own turf.
But it's not just mammals. Reptiles have protective armor too.
Like the Australian thorny devil, this scaly lizard is covered in spikes that make him almost impossible for predators to swallow. But do reptiles use more than spikes for defense?
Oh, yeah! If it wasn't for the rock-hard shell, a turtle would be practically defenseless. Turtles can't run fast, they can't climb trees, and except for snapping turtles... Hey, this is a snapping turtle.
These should be enough.
You know, you're lucky. If you hadn't had your foot armor on, you'd be less one toe.
Yeah, but you can't blame the turtle. I mean, I was in his space. If I was him, I would have done the same thing.
Like bees and wasps, snapping turtles are great defenders.
Definite defenses. But there's another reptile who's a master of escape. I give you the skink. When he's attacked, he takes off. So usually the predator can grab only its tail. But surprise, the tail falls right off and that's all the predator gets. Sorry about that, pal. And the skink gets away. Then all he's got to do is grow another tail. Neat trick, huh?
Yeah, but only if you have a tail. Human ancestors lost their tails millions of years ago.
Okay, and how about the old ink screen? When an octopus is in danger, it shoots out this blue ink, which hangs in the water and blocks it from view long enough for the octopus to escape. Talk about an ink-credible defense. Ink-credible, get it? I cracked me up.
Yeah.
Listen, I know all about the great defenders, and there's a lot to know. Defense can come in many sizes, shapes, colors, and fortresses. Termites build fortress-like mounds for defense from predators and the elements. And hey, some creatures defend not just themselves, but their homes too. Take acacia ants. These feisty guys will attack anyone who even brushes up against their acacia tree. Talk about touchy. And how about African buffalo weavers? Defense starts at home for these guys. Their huge nest protects them and their chicks, making it pretty hard for a predator to invite himself over for dinner. And take the millipede munching meerkat. These little mongoose-type guys are real social. That means they love to hang out in groups, which is part of their defense. They rely on each other to spot danger, like, say, an eagle. And hey, don't forget burrows. At the first sign of danger, that's where you'll find a meerkat. And you won't find some crabs spending much time above ground. These claw-clutching sidesteppers spend a lot of time under the sand, where predators like birds can't swoop them up for a crunchy snack. Now, you may wonder why a leopard would even shed a whisker worrying about defense. But lions or even hyenas love to swipe for food. That's why the leopard takes it to the trees. It's a great defense against losing fights and losing lunch. But for some animals, living in a tree has a downside. Hey, if a predator puts you out on a limb, then why not make like the sugar glider and jump for it?
That's right. Sugar gliders have a great defense. If a predator like a cat comes after them, these flying creatures can just take a big leap and glide to the next tree, as far as 55 feet away. Of all the defenses I've seen, gliding's the coolest. And as far as creature imitations go, gliding 55 feet sounds amazing. Nah, I think I'll stick to protective armor.
Humans are so limited.
Hey, you know, a lot of creatures give warning signs before they use their defenses.
Yeah, they use warning signs because most animals don't use their defenses if they don't have to. So, they advertise.
The same way we use bright colors to warn people of danger.
Just like creatures use bright colors as a warning sign to others that it's dangerous to come near them. And a great example of that is the poison arrow frog.
What do these frogs have in common? They're all brightly marked, and they're all packing lethal poison. And that's exactly the point. These bright colors really attract the predator's attention. It tells them, remember me? I'm that poisonous frog you really shouldn't bite, unless you want to die. Feeling lucky? Bright color warning signs aren't just used by frogs. Check out these poisonous caterpillars. They advertise their chemical weapons in big, bright, colorful, and furry ways.
One of the all-time great defenders, who gives plenty of warning signals before releasing her chemical weapons, the skunk.
But skunks don't use poison. They use stink. Noxious, rotten, horrible stink.
The skunk's markings are the first warning. If the intruder ignores it, the skunk has other warnings. It stamps its feet. Arches its back. And if the intruder persists, it sways back and forth. Finally, in a last-ditch effort, the skunk may do a handstand, almost like he's pointing out exactly what danger the intruder's in for.
Or they try to. These young skunks haven't quite mastered that yet.
Then, if the intruder still comes, the skunk has no choice but to fire.
By intruders, do you mean creatures like that dog behind you?
Dog! Oh no!
If you or your family pet, or your brother, ever gets sprayed by a skunk, a tomato juice bath will help get rid of the musky smell.
Truth is, a skunk only sprays to protect himself. He wants to make you smell so bad, he'll never forget who you got too close to.
And I know who I got too close to.
A skunk only has enough scent for 5 or 6 sprays, and it takes a while to make more. So, a skunk's careful not to spray unless he has to.
I never thought of that. I mean, it's not like they can manufacture more in a laboratory or anything.
Let's see. 3 milliliters copper. Essence of garlic. A jar of sewer gas. Concentrated sulfur. Solidified musk oil. I think we've got it. The perfect recipe for skunk musk.
Of course, everyone knows that scientists didn't invent skunk musk. But there are more to these omnivores than their stink power. They tend to keep to themselves, and they'll give you plenty of warning before they spray, as Martin found out. They use their sharp claws to root through the soil for bugs, but they also eat mice, eggs, and carrion. Mother skunks usually have 6 babies, and they stick close to her, following her around while they learn the ropes. Mom teaches them important lessons, like how to forage for food. Although most predators learn to avoid skunks after one spray, they still have to watch out for predators like bobcats and birds of prey. And this mom really has to watch out for the great horned owl, who'd love to snatch her babies for a meal. The great horned owl is one bird of prey who really puts the fear into a skunk. These silent hunters are so proficient at hunting skunks that their nests often reek of musk.
And now let's check out more great defenders.
Ready, guys?
Ready?
Ready. Defense.
Another creature with great self-defense. The squirrel. His way of staying alive is to always keep something between himself and his enemies.
If I'm the predator and I'm after that red squirrel, he plays this game of hide and seek with me. No matter where I go, he always scurries around to the other side where I can't see him. Ah!
The trick is to freeze once you get to the safe side of the tree, and then keep an eye on the predator.
Whichever way I go, that squirrel is a step ahead. Always out of my view. What's going on, Chris? You find something?
I found a hawk's nest with chicks in it. Wait a minute. Hawks don't leave their chicks alone for long.
Oh, yeah. If a mother hawk finds us here, close to her nest, she'll go ballistic. You can tell when a mother goshawk is really peeved because just before she's about to dive bomb an intruder, she shrieks. Not again.
Sometimes the best defense is a good offense.
And I think right now our best defense is silence.
This time, I'm not taking any chances.
And this time, you're finally using your head.
Yeah, and I'm protecting it with a mask and a helmet.
Not just that, you're also making yourself look bigger. That trick's been working for eons.
That's true. Check out the grizzly bear. When he stands up, he's over 8 feet tall. That's an intimidating sight. Lots of animals make themselves look bigger when faced with trouble. The lionfish sticks out his barbs, doubling his normal size. Out on the African savanna, size really comes into play. These giant creatures use their immense size for protection. And some creatures like antelope use huge groups for defense, pooling their resources and depending on each other to spot predators. Same story for dolphins. They live in pods, sticking together for protection from one of the biggest predators of the sea. Sharks. So Tark's right. In the creature world, size is maybe the best defense. And if you're not huge, you can increase your numbers or use special tricks to make yourself look bigger.
Talking about special tricks, the muscles a dog or cat uses to raise its fur and make itself look bigger are the same muscles this creature uses to defend itself. But the hair that this creature raises is a special kind of hair. Quills. Barbed quills that give predators a painful reminder to leave porks alone. In fact, almost no predator wants to go near them.
With that bit of defense, the porcupine can afford to really take his time. Have you ever seen a porcupine walking? They're in no hurry to get anywhere. They just kind of waddle around until they get to another tree.
And then you'll see another side of porks. They're amazing climbers.
The claws and pads on their hind feet really give them a firm grip, and their stiff tail hairs help prevent them from sliding down.
Porcupines are vegetarians, chowing down on leaves, needles, and shrubs. With those quills, the porcupine does have an almost invincible defense. Almost. Weighing up to 40 pounds, a pork is a pretty attractive meal to a predator like a bobcat, wolverine, or great horned owl. And some predators have pretty clever ways of defeating his defense.
Even the porcupine's defenses aren't impenetrable to everybody. Check out the fisher.
Fishers are fast-moving predators who can rush in and attack a porcupine's face. Then, he attacks its quillless underbelly. The porcupine's clumsiness and poor eyesight are big disadvantages against a fisher. If a fisher picks up his scent, he'll race in, closing the gap, and before long, it's all over.
You know, there's one thing I've always wondered. Is it true that porcupines can actually throw their quills?
Well, not really, but when a porcupine is approached by an enemy, hey, Martin will show us.
What?
Why not?
Well, I've got about 30,000 reasons why not. Because that's how many quills a porcupine has.
Come on, it'll be cool.
All right, I'll do it for science.
Like a skunk, a porcupine has plenty of warning signs. It only uses its quills as a last resort.
A porcupine is more interested in avoiding trouble. But if a predator does come his way, he doesn't panic, because he knows he's got a great defense.
If the intruder persists, the pork will give him reasons to reevaluate. He'll give warnings like chattering his teeth. And as a final warning, he'll give off a little scent, not as strong as the skunks, but still memorable.
When a porcupine feels threatened, the first thing he'll do is turn his back on you. And when he gets really scared, he backs up, swings his tail, and tries to stick you with the...
Chris, where's Martin?
quills.
Porcupine quills are really neatly designed.
They're covered with barbs that really keep them stuck in there.
They go in easily, but they're incredibly hard to get out.
Hard to get out? Says who? They come out, just not the way they went in. You see, quills are designed to travel. They work their way in up to an inch a day until eventually they come out the other side. Presto! Another reminder that when a porcupine's around, stay clear. Get the point?
Yeah, I got the point.
Count yourself lucky. Some creatures actually die because the quills travel so far they can puncture a vital organ, like a heart or a lung.
You know, this time, I'm going to be extra careful.
Martin, what are you doing?
I'm keeping my defenses up.
You gotta admit, Chris, he's had a tough day.
That's for sure. Oh, right now, I'm not the one having a tough day.
What do you mean?
Nothing's happened to us.
Look around you. You're standing in poison ivy. There's a beehive above you, and there's a skunk to your left.
Well, we've learned a lot about the great defenders today, haven't we? If you keep laughing, no defense in the world's gonna save you. Oh, yeah?
In the creature world, great defenses come in all sorts of packages.
Some ingenious, effective, and completely unexpected.
That's right. What it all comes down to is that creature defense is all about protection.
And avoiding trouble. The great defenders would rather be left alone.
Exactly. Creatures with natural defenses use their defensive weapons only as a last resort. And if you don't have a good natural defense system, the next best thing? A good first aid kit.
Bandages,
Bandages,
tomato juice, anti-venom.
anti-venom.
We've got a real bug out on our hands. On this episode of Kratts Creatures, we're doomed.
They crawl, they fly, they wriggle, they squiggle, but most of all,
They're on the loose and they're multiplying.
Come on, we've got to find the Emperor Scorpion.
There's only one way to solve the mystery of the giant bug invasion.
and that's by taking a close look at these creeping, crawling creatures.
A really close look.
Let's get out of this flap shack.
And up close and personal with giant, squirming, wriggling bugs.
You okay?
We'll be getting closer to bugs than ever before. Coming up on this episode of Kratts Creatures. They're out there, and they're multiplying, and they're munching madly with their maxillae and mandibles. They've got the world gripped in their thorny claws, and now they will strike. Panic! Hysteria! Mayhem! It's the giant bug invasion! A cataclysmic civic catastrophe! Call the army! Call the Marines! Call the air cadets! Call anybody!
Professor, there are bugs everywhere. There certainly are, Professor, from all over the world. In fact, they're taking over the planet. Coffee? Thanks, Professor.
But how? How did all this happen?
How did it happen?
You don't know?
I thought you knew.
No, I'm afraid this one has me stymied.
Come off it, guys. This whole giant bug invasion stuff is for the movies.
I'll explain the whole thing. See, Chris and Martin have been asked by the International Insect Commission to return several exotic bugs to their original locations around the world, right? So the three of us went out, and when we came back... Hey, we left the door open.
Not only that,
The dog must have been playing in here while we were gone. Uh-oh. Looks like the bugs we were taking care of got loose.
that's not good.
We've got a problem.
A really big problem. Bugs are cool, and they're crucial to the whole ecosystem.
But controlling them?
Good luck. Okay, what exactly is a bug?
Well, bug is a technical term that applies to certain insects. But for our purposes, we're calling every insect a bug. We've got to find these bugs. The reason we can't have exotic bugs getting out is because if they reproduce and give birth to more bugs, no one knows what effect this will have on our local ecosystem.
If these bugs can reproduce as fast as a fly, we're in trouble. If unchecked by predators, 2 single flies and their offspring could create 190 billion flies in 4 months. And if you want to know how effective bugs are at altering the environment, just ask any cabbage farmer.
You try to run an honest cabbage farm, and what happens? Some darn fool brings the cabbage butterfly in from Europe, and before you know it, it eats everything. This is the only cabbage I got out of my entire cornfield.
Butterflies start out as caterpillars, and that's when the cabbage butterfly chews up farmers' crops. The problem is that in North America, we don't have the natural checks and balances to keep their numbers down. It's another example of what happens when you mess with nature.
And look at this. Now I got potato beetles.
Okay, guys, here's what we're looking for. A Sonoran centipede, an emperor scorpion, a solifugid, a Madagascar cockroach, a millipede, a stick insect, a vinegaroon, a.k.a. whip scorpion, and a tarantula.
Finding these guys isn't going to be easy. We've got a real bug out on our hands.
Centipede.
I don't think so, Al. I think it's the millipede.
How can you tell?
That's easy. I've got the centipede, so you guys must have the millipede.
Careful, Martin. Those guys are poisonous.
I know. Get the jar. The name millipede means 1,000 legs, but in fact, they only have up to 400. This guy's a vegetarian, and he's not dangerous. But the centipede is. He's poisonous.
Centipede means 100 legs, but the most they have are 40. They're predators who eat worms and snails. There's another difference. Centipedes are faster and way more agile.
It's not easy being a millipede. Meet the meerkat, the mega-quick master of munching millipedes.
Meerkats are from Africa, and they're insect-hunting mongoose-like creatures.
And one of their favorite meals is, you're looking at it, millipede meat.
These guys will stop at nothing in their search for multi-legged squigglers.
Meerkats are always on the lookout for a millipede meal.
They'll do whatever they have to do to chase down a millipede. Even if the millipede tries to defend itself by curling into a ball, it doesn't stand a chance. The meerkat can crack the millipede's armor, no problem. And I mean crack.
After all that millipede munching, it's time to mellow out. What's up? We're not going to find the rest of the bugs in here.
What makes you so sure?
Look, an open window.
We're doomed.
Doomed is right. Success! I found one of our bugs, a tarantula. tarantula. Well, sort of. How about a tarantula skeleton?
Say what?
Because while this looks like a shell, that's actually what it is, a skeleton. See, compared to bugs, we're inside out. They have their skeletons on the outside of their bodies. When it's time to grow, they shed their skeletons and grow again. The skeleton gets hard as they grow. After a while, they shed it and grow again.
Get a load of this. It's a Cecropia, a type of silk moth. Check out the colors. They're amazing. And its wingspan must be at least 5 inches long. The spots on its wings look like eyes. So, the moth looks like the head of a much bigger animal. It's a great way to scare off predators.
The Cecropia is the largest moth in all of North America.
But that size doesn't offer any protection from predators like birds who'd love to gobble him up.
And that's where his eye spots come in. It's a great defense against predators.
Hey guys, check out these monarch caterpillars. They're not on our list, but they're cool.
Hey Chris, remember where we found a great place to check out caterpillars?
Absolutely. If you're looking for the treasure trove of caterpillars, you gotta go to South America. There are so many caterpillars in South America that scientists are still trying to learn about.
But one thing we do know is that the bright color of a caterpillar often acts as a warning to predators.
That's right. Those colors are like advertising. Really negative advertising. It's the caterpillar's way of saying, I have poisonous spikes, I have poisonous hairs, I'm a parcel of poison, and if you bite me, you're gonna die.
And in North America, we have our own version of a poisonous caterpillar.
The monarch caterpillar.
You know, some people think caterpillars look like wiggly maggots, but this is the stuff butterflies are made of.
Stuff? Stuff? That's not stuff. That's butterfly babies, called larvae. But not all bug babies look like little wiggly maggots. Here's what it takes to make a butterfly. When they're born, they look like worms with itty-bitty legs. We call them caterpillars, but they prefer to be called larvae. Then they hang out for a while as larvae until they're done with that stage and take it to the next, called the pupa. And after a while, the pupa opens up and perfection itself.
Whoa!
It's a praying mantis. Praying mantises are incredible predators. They're like the leopards of the insect world. They grab onto other insects with their front legs, and then they eat them alive.
There's a whole world of attack insects out there, and this one is from South America, and that's where she's going back to.
The praying mantis uses lightning speed to grab insects. She holds them between the spiny teeth on her front legs and then uses her powerful mouth to break through the armored heads.
Talk about tough.
Tough is right. And praying mantises can't even relax around each other because they're very cannibalistic.
That means they eat each other.
But the praying mantis isn't the only insect that hunts other creatures. Just look around and you'll see lots of others.
Like this fisher spider. Believe it or not, this guy actually hunts in the water.
A spider that hunts in the water?
Yeah, stick with me on this one, because it's great. The fisher spider catches its prey by playing dead.
But in the water?
Yeah, when someone comes to investigate, like a fish or tadpole, they're in for a surprise. Not only is the spider alive, but he's on the move, and he's having fish for dinner.
Great kill strategy.
Yeah, and it all happened in the water.
Or how about the antlion? It's not an ant or a lion, but it does prey on ants like a lion. Check this out. It digs a pit in the sand and then waits for an ant to amble by. If the ant falls in, he'll be falling into the jaws of the antlion.
But what if the ant tries to get away?
Strategy number 2. He flicks sand at the ant to knock it down into the pit and into its jaws.
Hey, it's not easy being an ant. But then again, ants eat bugs too.
Who are you covering up for? Ants don't just eat other bugs. They eat other ants. Army ants will go after a red ant and swarm it.
Okay, let's admit it. The reality is bugs eat other bugs. A lot. But why not? Your fellow bug may make a great meal. Beetles are eating mites.
Praying mantises have no compunction about chowing down on a dragonfly or two.
Centipedes eat slugs and worms.
Some wasps eat insect larvae.
And this guy, the amazing African horned baboon spider, not only eats other bugs like beetles and roaches, he can even eat animals like small birds. Hey, a spider the width of a human hand has a lot of dining options.
And remember the dragonfly who was being eaten by the praying mantis? He dines on so many mosquitoes that his nickname is the Mosquito Hawk. Believe it or not, those big things on the side of his head are eyes. In fact, 30,000 mini eyes called facets.
With that kind of eye power, he's an amazing mosquito catcher.
And insects don't just hunt small creatures, but big ones too.
Yeah, remember that time we were up north? That was the perfect example.
Mosquitoes! Black flies! They're driving me crazy! They're all over me! I can't take much more of this.
Let's get out of this flashback.
We've got to get back to the giant bug invasion!
Now, where were we? Black flies and mosquitoes. Right. Black flies and mosquitoes need the blood of humans before they can produce eggs. That's why they bite. And they just don't go after human blood. They also bite wildebeests and other creatures like tree kangaroos, chimps, elk, sloths, polar bears, just about everybody.
There's no denying that these bugs can be pesky.
But it's nothing personal. Bugs are only doing what they need to do to survive.
And we shouldn't forget that if bugs disappeared, we'd have a real mess on our hands. And I mean a mess. In other words, some bugs make amazing cleanup crews.
You're right. Take flies and maggots. Or to be more accurate, take flies.
Because maggots, those little white squirmy things, are fly larvae.
Or in other words, baby flies.
Okay, here's what happens. An animal carcass is lying around, right?
Right.
Adult flies land on the carcass and start eating.
Seen it 1,000 times.
Flies then lay their eggs on the carcass.
Hey, while you're there, why not?
In 24 hours, all the eggs will have hatched as maggots, and the maggots will finish off the carcass.
In other words, maggots and flies keep down the mess, right?
Right, but if you want more examples of bugs cleaning up,
dung beetles!
These guys eat dung, which is a scientific word for poop.
Tell all your friends about this, because it's amazing.
Hey, I tell people about this all the time, and I can't figure out why they don't think it's amazing.
I can't either, because it's incredible. Dung beetles actually take a chunk of dung, roll it into a ball, and then the male finds a place to bury it.
The female lays an egg on it, and when it hatches, the larvae feeds off the dung.
It's a dirty job,
but someone's got to do it.
We've seen some cool bugs, but we haven't found any of the ones we've been looking for, especially the emperor scorpion.
An emperor scorpion from Africa, here in North America. This isn't good.
It's worse than not good, because the emperor scorpion is pregnant.
Pregnant? Do you know what that means? If we don't find that scorpion before she gives birth, there'll be tons of babies all over the place. And it will be impossible to find all those little guys. Come on, we've got to find the emperor scorpion. Remember how we said it would be dangerous for the environment if any of the exotic insects settled in and reproduced? Well, if the emperor scorpion has babies, and those babies survive and grow up, and they have babies, who knows what'll happen?
We gotta find that scorpion.
Scorpions hunt at night, but during the day, they hide out in any dark, safe place they can find. Under logs, under rocks.
Any place out of the sun.
You can't blame a bug for hiding, especially when you realize how many creatures would love to eat them.
It's not so easy being a bug, you know.
It may seem a little unfair that these bugs are constantly being gobbled up by bigger creatures. But the bigger creatures are just doing what they need to do to survive. Hey, there's another reason to love bugs.
Without them, some of these bug-eating animals could become extinct.
Hey, I found something. It's It's not an emperor scorpion, but it's close. You found the whip scorpion!
Awesome, Chris.
A whip scorpion is not a true scorpion because it doesn't have a stinger. But it does have a sac filled with vinegar-like acid that it sprays into its enemy's eyes.
Wow, intense.
Great, so we found another one of our escapees.
And now for another episode of...
Stupid things not to do with animals. No real scorpions were used in filming this episode of Stupid Things Not to Do with Animals. No, we wouldn't do that.
Now that is one hungry bug.
It's the Solifugid.
The Solifugid chews its food up to a soft pulp, and then it sucks up the juice.
It never has to drink because it gets all the moisture from freshly squished scorpions, birds, and lizards.
and smaller Solifugids.
Think he's done?
He's done. Let's grab him fast. We've still got a pregnant emperor scorpion to pump.
Got him!
Unlike the Solifugid, some creatures are strictly fungivores, like the leafcutter ants.
Leafcutters actually grow their own food. They're fungus farmers. They travel miles to cut and collect leaves, travel back to their underground nest, and then feed the leaves to fungi.
Then the ants feed on the fungi.
Hey, if you think these farmers are cool, then check out Africa's creature constructors. Termites! These guys are Major League Bug House builders.
They put together huge mounds from dirt, sand, and spit. Their spit's the glue that holds it together.
And it really holds. Termite mounds are as hard as a rock.
Think of that. A few grains of sand,
A few gobs of spit.
and you got yourself a condominium.
Okay, recap. We've got the centipede and the millipede, the Solifugid, the vinegaroon, and the praying mantis. We still have to find the tarantula, the Indian walking stick, and the Madagascar cockroach.
Those are tough bugs. Let's head into the woods.
Hey guys, check out this stick. That's not any stick.
You're right.
It's a walking stick.
Walking sticks are insects who hide among the foliage of trees and bushes.
Their body shape and texture make them look like just another stick on the branch.
They can even sway in the wind like twigs.
It makes it almost impossible for birds to detect them.
Walking sticks not only use foliage to hide it, they eat it too.
Why not? While you're hiding out, you may as well snag a meal.
Wow, we're lucky you spotted him. He blends right in with the branches. You know, usually walking sticks are only active at night. During the day, they remain motionless. It's like he's in a trance. A really deep trance. He stays still so predators won't notice him. Even if you touch it, it doesn't move. Hey. All right, we found the Indian walking stick.
Okay, we only need to find two more creatures, the tarantula and the emperor scorpion.
Something tells me they're close by. I've just got this feeling.
Martin, you do something to your hair?
No, what are you talking about?
It does look stranger than usual. Come on, you guys. Let's go find some bugs. Martin, don't move. Why?
Because your hair just did.
What?
It's a tarantula. Oh, I hope it didn't lay any eggs.
Of the 30,000 kinds of spiders around the world, tarantulas are the biggest.
There are tarantulas living all over the place, in different habitats from lowlands to mountains to woodlands to grassy plains.
Most tarantulas prey on insects like crickets, grasshoppers, and flies, but some have been known to hunt small birds.
A lot of people get freaked out by the sight of a tarantula. Tarantulas may not be exactly cuddly, but in my book, they're pretty cool spiders. The other cool thing is that spiders aren't insects. Scorpions and solifugids aren't either. They're arachnids. So, what's an arachnid? Basically, arachnids have 8 legs. Insects, on the other hand, only have 6 legs.
Tarantulas are different from most other spiders because they don't spin webs. Tarantulas are active hunters, and they kill their prey with a lethal venom injection. Just kidding. She's really nice.
Man, the world of spiders is intense.
And it's a world that scientists are still learning about. But one thing we do know about spiders is that they're all predators.
And they all use poison to kill and paralyze their prey.
But they're also nothing to be afraid of. There aren't many spiders with poison strong enough to harm humans. And unless you bug them, they won't bug you.
Not all spiders spin webs. Some just stake themselves out in a good spot and wait for a tasty invertebrate to come by.
But you know what I've always wondered about spiders who do spin webs? How come they don't get stuck?
Because there are two types of web strands. The sticky kind that traps insects, and the non-sticky strands that the spider walks on. It's all a matter of having inside information on how the web was weaved.
Can you name the bug with the best set of eyes?
Should have thought of this earlier. If we had the intense vision of a dragonfly, we'd find that hissing cockroach and emperor scorpion like that. All I have to do is put on my creature vision goggles, set them to dragonfly.
Chris? It'll be dark soon. I figure we better go back to the Creature Club and get some flashlights. You okay?
Whew. Talk about sensory overload. Seeing like a dragonfly is not easy.
Hey guys, scorpions dig little burrows, right?
Why? What'd you find?
This look like a scorpion burrow to you?
I don't know. It could be.
How do we tell if she's in there?
Well, emperor scorpions do live in burrows, but that's not necessarily where they keep their young.
That's right, they keep their young on their back.
They hang there for about a week until they're old enough to make it on their own.
I forgot about that. So we didn't have to worry about baby bugs getting into the ecosystem. Those babies aren't going anywhere.
For now.
Right, let's get her back to the Creature Club ASAP.
I'm with you guys. We still have to find that hissing cockroach, which won't be easy at night.
The flashlight should be by the desk. Hey, great crackers. I haven't eaten since breakfast.
You might want to take a second look at this cracker, Al.
Hey, a cockroach.
A Madagascar hissing cockroach. Now we found the last of our bugs.
Colossal cockroaches! Where have you guys been? We've been chatting up a storm. Did you know I've known cockroaches for over 300 million years? Because that's how long these guys have been crawling around. Hey, I know you humans think cockroaches are oogie, but they're a real success story. They live in almost every corner of the globe, in cities, woodlands, deserts, and mountains. You gotta hand it to the cockroach. They know how to survive. After all, there'll always be dead insects and animals to eat, not to mention all those rotten plants. And hey, fungi. If you ask me, cockroaches deserve a little respect.
Actually, cockroaches, other insects, and arachnids deserve a lot of respect. Maybe they seem kind of strange. Maybe they seem a little creepy. But once you get to know them, I know you'll think bugs are really cool and fascinating. I know I do. And whatever you think of their looks, you can't deny that bugs and insects are an essential part of the creature picture.
And as long as we don't mess around with their environments or their lives, we'll be able to live together forever.
All the bugs are safe and ready to go home. And you know, now if we want something to eat, we'll be able to find something that's bug-free.
That'd be great.
I'm hungry, too. Baby cockroaches!
Wow.
Cool. I think Tark forgot to tell us something. His cockroach friend is also a new mom. Most people would call bugs disgusting, filthy, and sometimes downright scary. But we've got to remember that all bugs, even the simple cockroach, are beautiful in their own way. After all, if every creature was cute and fuzzy and had not so gross eating habits, it'd make for a pretty dull and boring planet, don't you think?